Gosh, the peacock, man. Well, the peacock actually is in the 𝗿𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗍, right? It goes all the way back to the beginning. And the peacock originally, was just another bird, very empathetic. It was the embodiment of 𝗃𝗏, right? This Odu, or this animal, better said, is seen as the personification of 𝗃𝗏 within nature. Now, there's other animals. You got the honeybee. Some people would even say 𝗃𝗏 has to do with the lion as well. The fish, of course. But the peacock is one of the strongest representations of her on Earth. So what happened in 𝗿𝗏𝗹𝗁𝗍 was 𝗿𝗏𝗍 was really annoyed with humanity and, the animal kingdom and all of his creations. He was just ready to all see them die. And, all of the Orishas were trying to plead with him because he had caused an immense drought in, what was Africa at this point. And, people as well as animals were hiding under the 𝗿𝗲𝗹𝗁𝗍 tree, which is the common 𝗃𝗂𝗋 tree, to get shade because, there was this thing that occurred where the drought started, Earth didn't perform at 𝗏, and, the atmosphere was actually distancing itself from Mother Earth. It was known as Father Sky. And, the temperature was getting much, much higher, and you begin to wonder if we keep using all these aerosols all the time, what's going to happen to us. And mind you, this isn't our first existence, so all things to think about. So after everyone failed, the peacock went for divination with Orunmila. And the Joseph Baba Ifa was revealed, where Ifa told him that he needed to perform sacrifice before going on this mission to save the world, which he did. And they say that ultimately the sacrifice was with water, right? So when he started or set out on his flight to 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗏𝗁𝗍, right, or heaven, it progressively got longer and hotter, right? He thought that he was going to be back quickly, but that wasn't the case. And he noticed that the more he got closer in proximity to Olodumari's palace, his aesthetics started changing. His feathers started falling out. The ones that stayed got burnt. His face started getting burned. His skin irritated and changed and mutated. He lost all his hair. He lost his crown. He became bald. So by the time the peacock arrived at Olodumari's feet, he was the vulture, right? And he was basically dead, right? He or she, depending how you want to interpret it. And Olodumare looked and said, why have you given this ultimate, price, this ultimate sacrifice? Why are you dying for these people? And the peacock looked, or the vulture at this point said, because they know not what they do. We have to educate them. We have to be patient with them. We have to understand them. But killing them and starting over every time is going to be really pointless, because we're going to go through this again. You've already killed civilization 6 times. And Olodumare looked at, the bird and said, you're right. At this point, it was 𝗀𝗏𝗃, and said, I'll send the rains because you made sacrifice with water. That's why in the 𝗿𝗏𝗹𝗁𝗍, you have the verse that starts with alolomi, hatiwaye 𝗀𝗏𝗃, which speaks of the water that was brought by 𝗀𝗏𝗃, the vulture. So when that occurred, he opened up the floodgates, water and rains and the monsoons and all these things occurred, allowing life to come back. And he actually told 𝗄𝗏 to let the vulture at this point out the back door. There was a quicker way to heaven or to earth than it was to heaven, because they say it took the number 7 for him to get from earth to heaven, but he was able to get back to earth instantly. So, that's why 𝗄𝗏 is known as the Orisha of the black hole, because he teleports. He's omnipresent ultimately. So when the vulture came back, he was applauded, even though his appearance had changed quite a bit. Now, whether, it morphed back or not, it doesn't really state all that quite clearly, but now we have both. You have the peacock and you have the vulture, right? So when we talk about the peacock literally saved the world, right? 𝗃𝗏𝗃 literally saved the world. And when you look at the name of the peacock in Yoruba, in modern Yoruba, it's 𝗃𝗏𝗃, right? But if you look at the Lukumi term for it, it's 𝗵𝗿𝗹𝗁𝗍. And 𝗵𝗶 means help, 𝗃𝗏, mother, me, or us, right? So it means mother, help us, which is where that name comes from, because the peacock, that's what they would say, 𝗵𝗿𝗹𝗁𝗍, please, mother, help us. And that's what she did when she flew to heaven to save all of us, right? So pretty epic stuff.